The Evie Smart Ring is an industry first, designed specifically for women and at an affordable price point of $269 with no added subscription fee. There's plenty of potential in Movano Health's first smart ring. It offers features like period tracking and symptom journaling, an FDA-approved pulse oximeter, and an open ring design that accounts for fluctuations in women's finger sizes throughout the day. However, the woman-first smart ring has a lot of catching up to do if it wants to take on the greats, and suffers from a plethora of challenges one might expect from a first-generation device. It's unfortunate for Evie that 2024 has been the year of smart rings, because the goalposts have moved significantly with the release of Samsung Galaxy Ring and the Oura Ring 4. When I first saw Evie in January at CES 2024, it was a spunky upstarter ready to shake up the space. Just under a year later, it registers as outdated. Considering they even discontinued the product for several months this year to address primary concerns with early customer feedback, it's been a rocky start for Evie. Such is the fate of many woman-first ventures, and in that respect, it's just bad luck and timing for them that many of Evie's major health tracking competitors have come up to speed with features like ovulation tracking and blood temperature sensing. Still, I think it will find its way onto the fingers of some happy customers, especially thanks to its approachable price point. If you want a device more for general health and wellness purposes instead of activity tracking, it will cover most bases. It's worth highlighting that I tested my device in the UK, where the Ring has yet to release, and was therefore using a test flight version of the app on iOS. However, the experiences I'm about to share are consistent with other journalists and users who've tried Evie in the US. Plus, Evie also announced the addition of new features like further data insights and auto activity tracking as of September 2024. But I can't see any users or reviewers online talking about these features, nor did they appear in my test flight app, so I won't be discussing them in today's review. Available in gold, silver and rose gold, the Evie Smart Ring is gorgeous and available in sizes 5 to 12. Before purchasing, you can also order a ring sizing kit. I'd recommend using this at different points in your cycle to ensure you don't end up with a slightly gappy ring like I did. Arguably, the standout feature in Evie's toolkit is its design, opting for this open band which can accommodate for the micro fluctuations that occur throughout a woman's cycle, or even just throughout the day. It's a thoughtful inclusion that no other smart ring on the mass market has considered, and especially as I approach my period, it's a godsend. It does come with a trade-off, however. The hardware of the ring has to be crammed in a little more. For my quite slim fingers, it's a little on the thick side, meaning when I wear it on my index finger and I'm using my phone, it can really dig in. And I'm quite aware at all times that I'm wearing it. However, that's fairly standard across smart rings I've worn, and the open design massively improves comfort compared to those. I also find the gap in the ring gets caught in my hair a lot, which can be a little grating. However, it's dense enough that I haven't noticed it catching and pulling on my clothes at least. Its titanium PVD coating does scratch fairly easily too. After just a week of wear, I noticed a small scratch on its surface. It's a shame, as the ring is otherwise pretty hardy, offering up to 1 meter submersion in water, so you can wear it while showering and doing the dishes. However, I just don't feel safe doing that anymore. On the inside of the ring are 3 notches housing the sensors: a 3-axis accelerometer, infrared as well as red and green LEDs used by the PPG sensors, and skin temperature sensors. It also comes with a charging case ring box, which is a little more plasticky and cheap than I'd ideally like for an otherwise beautiful product. The Evie Ring offers a fairly well-rounded feature set, offering vital metrics like heart rate and blood oxygen levels on demand through its spot check feature, as well as constant heart rate monitoring throughout the day. While you sleep, it also analyzes time spent in different sleeping zones. And in addition to tracking your heart rate and blood oxygen levels, it will also measure your heart rate variation average, respiration rate average, and skin temperature variation average. However, these are presented as static figures rather than graphs you can extrapolate and explore, which is a bit of a letdown. In terms of activity tracking, the ring can track your steps and workouts. As highlighted in my introduction, auto workout detection didn't work for me. Instead, you have to use the app to tell Evie you're about to work out for a set amount of time, but you can't specify what workout you're doing, meaning granular insights into how different forms of exercise affect your vitals aren't possible. It logs your active minutes and estimated calories burned, informing its algorithms with your menstrual cycle data to give you more accurate readings, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, the standout feature is the app-based journal feature, which tracks your menstrual cycle and symptoms. In addition to noting your energy levels and mood on a scale of low to high, you can also note your general mood with one of 13 tags, albeit fairly arbitrary ones, as well as your menstrual flow level from light to heavy, symptoms, vaginal discharge consistency, and other stressors like alcohol, illness, injury, travel, or stress. However, there's lots Evie doesn't do, and a few places where I feel like it's a little misleading. For instance, menstrual cycle tracking. While smart rings like the Samsung Galaxy Ring use skin temperature data to predict your cycles, Evie's app seems to solely rely on your logging to predict your next period, which is just like many standardized menstrual tracking apps. Most frustratingly, while Evie can measure all of the data points mentioned above, it falls short in the actual analysis and presentation of the data across the board. Its biggest competitors offer all kinds of learnings off the back of health data. Evie doesn't deliver helpful insights or analysis into trends. There's also no way to log specific events at certain times of the day, and while the sleep stage graph is useful, there's no suggestion on what it means or how to improve it. Plus, there's no inclusion of features like an energy score. For me, this is a huge missed opportunity given that menstrual symptoms can impact our sleep as well as our readiness for activity, and that some studies have shown that hormone and iron levels can too. Performance is another mixed bag for the Evie Smart Ring. On the one hand, the ring does broadly deliver on all the fronts promised by manufacturer Movano. However, some of the specs and features aren't quite on a par with its biggest competitors. Once you've paired and set up your Evie Smart Ring, you'll choose 3 goals to work towards from 5 options: steps, workout sessions, mood and symptom tracking, sleep and active minutes. I chose the latter 3 as my main focus right now is general wellness and mental health as opposed to training and fitness. On the homepage of the app, you're greeted by an Apple Fitness style ring, which is filled as you complete your daily goals. As someone who suffered from the negative impact of calorie counting, I didn't love that that was a fixed category as part of the ring, but broadly speaking, I think Evie does very well at sensitively handling the journey to wellness and celebrating wins. I particularly like the journaling element of the app and found it useful to go back and see if I'm always anxious before my period or a bit low energy. There's a slight delay in data synchronization between the ring and the app, mitigated somewhat by keeping the app open at all times, but there were a few instances where I didn't get my sleep data until much later in the day. Evie can also not tell when I'm taking a nap, only logging sleep between 9 PM and 10:30 AM, and there's no option to force track it, which left my sleep count completely skewed a few times. Similarly, a few times I had disturbed sleep where I woke up for an hour before falling back asleep. Evie didn't log the further sleep session. The data that does register in the app also isn't always the most useful. Sure, I get my nightly temperature variation while I sleep, but as I said earlier, it's an average rather than an hour-by-hour report, and you can only get it as part of your sleep metrics. There's little to no analysis provided, whether that's trends or suggested improvements, which again diminishes the actual impact the ring has on your health and wellness. Still, at least the data does seem to be mostly accurate. I tested it against my Apple Watch Series 5, and both my BPM and sleep stages broadly lined up, though it routinely struggled to identify deep sleep stages, implying I get an average of 10% deep sleep per night versus the 20% my Apple Watch registered. Its battery life is much shorter than some of its competition too. Movano advertises this as 4+ days, but generally mine lasted just shy of that unless I had a fairly inactive week. There's also no integration with other health or menstrual tracking apps, which is a huge missed opportunity given the lack of actionable health insights generated by Evie. Right now, you can buy the Evie Smart Ring for $269, and while a UK release date has been discussed, we don't yet know when or if it will actually launch. Unlike some of its competition, Evie is entirely subscription-free, making it an attractive offer for those who can't quite justify the Oura Ring 4's monthly $5.99 subscription and higher price tag starting at $349 or £349. It also comes with the Ring box-style charger, as mentioned earlier, which charges via USB-C. However, it's far more limited compared to its competition. So, what do you think about the Evie Smart Ring? Let us know in the comments below and check out TechRadar.com for my full review.